Hi everyone, welcome to the Movie Section Show. My name is Fariba, and this morning, oh my lord, we got our first official trailer for the upcoming series Daredevil Born Again, and I cannot even express how excited I am just to see this show because I watched the original one. I think I've mentioned this plenty of times on this channel that I have seen the original Daredevil. I was in love with the original Daredevil. It was honestly one of my favorite shows watching when it used to be on Netflix. I think I've already expressed my account when I first heard about the cancellation, and then suddenly, after a few years, like the gap and hiatus, and giving the chance for, I believe it was like something in the contract for for any of the rights for the characters to kind of translate back into Marvel and DC because they weren't allowed to use them for a number of years. And then of course then came No Way Home. We saw Charlie Cox return. Then we saw him back again in She-Hulk for that one episode that I'm pretty sure is the only episode that people liked. But now we're finally going. I think what makes this more exciting is that we're finally getting to see a Matt Murdock / Daredevil centered series on him, and one that seems to kind of be a revival of sorts. I don't want to say it in the most hardest way. I think I'm going to say soft revival, just because, again, we don't exactly know how much they're going to retain from the original series. Although we do know a couple of things, like, a lot of the cast members are coming back, like the Punisher, Karen, Foggy. Of course, we have Wilson Fisk. We know we had the events of Echo, so that's going to affect a little bit what's going to happen here. It looks like we're gonna get a little bit more of Mayor Wilson Fisk. Of course, I think the big thing that a lot of people were wondering is whether or not this revival, in a sense, is going to be as dark as the original, or they're going to Disney-fy it. Originally, it sounded as though they're going to Disney-fy, but then after a whole restructuring that seemed to have happened in Disney, Kevin Feige or somebody at Disney / Marvel was like, you know what, we need to restart this. We're not happy with this product. We're going to start from scratch, hire the guys from Loki, and revamp the whole Daredevil aesthetic. And man, I mean, we'll see, right? I'm going to see in a second with this trailer if they manage to accomplish this, but I'm so excited to see this series. I'm definitely going to be doing some reactions for it. I mean, this is a must. Doing a reaction for Daredevil is a must. So yeah, I mean, I can't even wait any longer because I had to wait this many hours just to check it out. So without further ado, let's get right down into watching the first official trailer for Daredevil Born Again.
Thank you for finding the time. I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
It's been such a long time we've seen them together.
A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
The mayor serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced.
Can you blame me? I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
Really?
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
This city
Bullseye.
can't go unchecked.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken. And chaos must reign.
Oh my god, freak!
Am I putting the hatchet down? I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
Oh my god, that's fun. Was the trailer for Daredevil Born Again, and I have to say, I am very much on board. I'm trying to also reserve my expectations because I feel like every time I get excited for something Disney, like whether it be Star Wars or Marvel, sometimes they do disappoint. But honestly, watching this trailer, I'm happy that they. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is I'm happy that they stuck with their gun, decided to restart the whole thing, not Disneyfy it, go back to just the way that Netflix had done the whole sophisticated, mature, violent approach to it. And it's very clear here. I mean, it just works so well here. Because that's just how we were introduced to Matt Murdock. I mean, this is the aesthetic that really pleases kind of the whole storytelling of Matt Murdock and his vigilantism as Daredevil of Hell's Kitchen, and just the Devil Hell's Kitchen. And I mean, once again, we can see why that approach worked the best, and we can see that here. I mean, I think I will even say, because I kept hearing about how this version is going to be even more violent, even more mature than the Netflix version. I can clearly see a lot of those visuals, like some of the visuals indicating that, like especially at the very end of the trailer where we see a little bit more of the action sequences with Matt and him in the Daredevil suit. It's like, oh, okay, whoa, this is like even more violent, because at least in the Netflix series, like, yes, it is violent, yes, it is very bloody, but even in some of the more grotesque scenes, like especially with Wilson Fisk, especially, I don't know if you guys remember that whole scene where he like really bludgeons a guy with the door. Even though we don't see it, we can understand what's going on by the sounds, right? Which still makes it a very mature, very violent series. But here it's like, oh, they're really showing a lot more of those details. So I'll be very intrigued to see some of those material and kind of just how they amp up the whole violence and gore in this series. Because I think that is the best way to do it. I mean, I'm the type of person who likes a little bit more mature R-rated material. Of course, now it's like, how is this going to be able to work out in MCU? I mean, I believe moving forward, like these kinds of shows where there is a little bit more of the matureness to it, that they have like a whole different banner for it, so it doesn't necessarily have this connection with the actual rest of the MCU, although they can still be acknowledged. I mean, technically speaking, that was happening in the Daredevil series anyways. I think there was like the whole Avengers reference back in one of the episodes of Daredevil. I can't remember which one it was, but it works, right? I think so far this trailer looks very intriguing. I'm so excited. Like, I'm not disappointed, thankfully. I've been waiting for this for a long time, especially because they had to delay it, with one being the reshoots and then two because of strikes. So now I'm finally getting it. It's like, it's great. And now watching this trailer, it's like, okay, I'm very satisfied at the moment. Now it's just a matter of seeing that final product come through when it comes out in March. Now, that being the case, let's just kind of break down a little bit of what this trailer has revealed, because there's a lot of things that I'm like going in my mind. I'm like, it's like, okay. And a lot of it is pertaining to stuff from the Netflix stuff, and then of course stuff that's happened since he has joined the MCU. Now, clearly Wilson Fisk is the mayor of Hell's Kitchen, or some part of New York. That was pretty clear. That was indicated that, I think it was, what was it, back in Echo, that he was going to become the mayor, and that was clearly going to translate into this series, because there is that connection between the two series. And we did see a little bit of Daredevil in Echo, but it was like 2 minutes at best. So we knew that was going to happen. It does give a little bit too much of reality from real life. But that being the case, I think what really did shock me is the revelation that Matt I wouldn't say necessarily retired, but has gone a hiatus, per se. I mean, who knows? It's very likely that he'll go back to his persona as Daredevil, but from the looks of it, it seems as though that he has taken a hiatus from it. Something must have triggered him, something must have happened, because we knew that he was a Daredevil. He even was active as a Daredevil by the time we got to She-Hulk episode 9, the only episode that I remember anything about, and he seemed like he was having a blast. So it's like, okay, how do we go from a very happy, very, good old attitude Matt Murdock, who is donating the Daredevil suit, to now this Matt Murdock who seemingly seems to have had something gone on with him to the point where he kind of doesn't want to help people in the way that he used to before, at least in the more vigilante sense. Something must have triggered him, something must have happened. We'll probably get a little bit more of those details when we actually get the series, because I mean, why would you reveal it that, so soon? But something must have happened, clearly. I mean, I feel like I have some theories and predictions as to what it could be, and I think, again, it's a little bit too on the nose of what's happening in real life right now, especially because of the whole, Wilson Fisk becoming the mayor of New York, of Hell's Kitchen, and so it's like, could it be something like that? I mean, we see a lot of references. I mean, if you look at a lot of the visuals, we see a lot of people holding up the American flag, and I'm just like, this is getting really too on the nose now. But who knows? I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, that's just what I'm getting the hints out of, or some of the clues that I'm trying to decipher from this trailer now that I've actually seen it a couple times now, especially after that first try. So it's like, okay, is it going in that route? Is that what we're seeing here? Are we kind of seeing this kind of the reality of what it would be like if there were superheroes involved, or in this case, vigilantes involved in a political environment that we're seeing here? Who knows? Perhaps. Good news is that we do see Karen back. We do see Foggy back. I know a lot of people were really pissed about that. I was pretty upset about that. But of course, they, amended that mistake when they did the whole reshoot, with the whole revamping of it. And then we see Bullseye. We see Punisher's back. A lot of things are going on. It's very mature, very sexy. We got some things going on here that I've noticed. I was like, there was one scene I was like, oh, I did not know we're going that route. But honestly speaking, having seen the trailer, it looks very promising. We got a lot of big reveals, although again, it perceives the question of how is this going to impact everything that we know so far. I would assume that by this point, Matt has a very good practice, because that seemed to be the case, especially when we look back at No Way Home, because I mean, how was he able to, how was Peter Parker able to hire someone like Matt and then have such a high profile case and, get someone like Matt? I mean, Matt must have really gone up the ladder since Daredevil, right? And if we remember back in season 3, they were going to expand their practice and get Karen involved. So it was like Nielsen, Murdoch, and what was it, Karen Page? I think her last name was Page. So I wonder if that's what they're continuing off of from the Netflix one, because that's a big question mark. Of course, again, we already know what happens to Echo. I don't think I'll be watching Echo anytime soon. We just know the fact that, at some point, Wilson becomes the mayor. He got the idea to become mayor. He won somehow over the people, even though, did we forget his crimes? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna judge on that, or maybe I will. But aside from that, I mean, these are some really great visuals. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen Matt and Wilson Fisk together, face and face, and they even imply this here as well. It's like, oh, it's resonating here. So honestly, a very good trailer. I'm very pumped to see it when it comes out in March. I mean, it's finally happening. It's finally happening. It's January now. We're only about 2 months away, so I cannot wait to see how the show is going to turn out. I mean, we're already gonna have a season 2, so that means that if they had to confirm this early, that means they have a lot of faith on this show. So if that's the case, I'm gonna have some pretty good expectations going into the show. I mean, I just hope that they did it right and that they did the right approach in revamping it. I mean, honestly, just the revamping with what they had already changed was already a big deal. Now it's just a matter of seeing if all of that was worth it. So I think that's all to say about this trailer. There isn't really a whole lot else to say about it. But let me know your thoughts now seeing the first trailer for Daredevil Born Again. If you had seen the original series, what are your thoughts now seeing this trailer? Are you even more pumped to see what's going to happen? Are you a little bit more cautious or reserved? Because again, it is going to be under Marvel Studios / Disney rather than Netflix. So your thoughts, knowing the fact that we've seen this trailer, are you happy that they actually revamped the actual series from what it was supposed to be perceived before and now where it is now? What are your thoughts about seeing a lot of the returning characters? Are you excited to see them back? What do you think caused Matt to take a hiatus from vigilantism? Did something happen in his personal life? Did it happen because of what happened in terms of the election or something else? What do you think is going to happen moving forward? What's gonna I believe that was Muse. I didn't even talk about Muse. That was Muse. I'm not too familiar with him, but maybe you guys know a little bit more about this character, so go away with that. And let me know your thoughts and expectations going into the series. I cannot wait to do reaction videos for it, but let me know your thoughts below and make sure to like and subscribe.